Captain Taewon Park stood by the large window of the Earthship Harmony. He looked at the stars and sighed. 6 months of talks with aliens and still no real progress. He turned away from the window and walked to his desk. His head hurt. "Captain, the meeting starts in 10 minutes, said his computer. "Thank you," he said. He picked up his tablet and checked the notes from yesterday's meeting. The same problems over and over. The aliens from the Galactic Council treated humans like children. They wanted Earth's best technology, but offered little in return. Taiwan left his room and walked down the long corridor of the Harmony. The ship was Earth's best diplomatic vessel, large and impressive. It had meeting rooms, living spaces for 50 people, and the newest technology Earth had to offer. 6 months ago, when they first arrived at the Galactic Council station, the aliens had seemed impressed. That didn't last long. He entered the main meeting room where his team was already gathered. Commander Ji-ho Kim, Earth's chief negotiator, was talking with Science Officer Sungmin Cho. They both looked tired. "Captain," Ji-ho nodded. "Ready for another day of going nowhere?" "We have to keep trying," said Taewon. "Earth is counting on us." The door on the other side of the room opened. The alien delegates entered. There were 6 different species in the room. The tall, blue-skinned Valaxians came first, led by High Speaker Gravin. Then came the short, 4-armed Morites. The green, reptile-like Feldrassi followed. 3 other species Taewon still had trouble telling apart came last. "Let us begin," said Gravin, sitting at the head of the table without asking. "Yesterday we were discussing human military technology." Taewon noticed Ji-ho's jaw tighten. They had been through this many times. "As we explained," Ji-ho said calmly, "Earth is willing to share defensive technology only after we have established trust and fair trade agreements." "Trust?" The Morite representative made a clicking sound that the translator didn't catch. "You are newcomers to space. We have traveled the stars for thousands of years. You should trust our experience," Sungmin spoke up. "Our scans show that your faster-than-light drives are less efficient than ours by at least 30%. Earth developed space travel later than you, but we've made fast progress," the Feldrassi representative hissed. "Yet you have so much to learn. Your colonies are few and poorly defended. The galaxy is dangerous." "Is that a threat?" asked Taewon, keeping his voice level. "A fact," said Gravin, "which is why you need our protection. In exchange for your fusion power technology and gravity manipulation systems, we offer our protection." Communications Officer Hae-Jin Lee, who had been quiet until now, looked up from her tablet. "Protection from whom? Our scans show no major conflicts in this sector for over 50 years. The room went quiet. The aliens looked at each other. "You should not be running unauthorized scans," said Gravin finally. "We scan for our own safety," said Taewon, "just as we maintain our own defenses. Now can we discuss the trade agreements we proposed last week?" "Those terms are unacceptable," said the Morite. "Exclusive mining rights in your asteroid belt is a fair exchange for membership in the Council." "Fair?" Ji-ho shook her head. "You ask for resources worth trillions, yet offer nothing but membership in return." "Membership is everything." Gravin stood up, his blue skin darkening with emotion. "Do you know how many species begged to join the Galactic Council?" "We didn't beg," Taewon reminded him. "You contacted us after detecting our first faster-than-light test flights." The meeting continued. Like this for hours. Every human suggestion was dismissed. Every alien demand was presented as a gift that Earth should be grateful for. When they finally took a break, Taewon gathered his team in a small room off the main hall. "This isn't working," he said. 6 months, and we're still at square one." Hae-Jin looked up from her communications device. "Captain, I've been monitoring their internal communications. My translator has finally cracked their secondary encryption. Should you be doing that?" asked Sungmin, looking nervous. "They're doing it to us," said Hae-Jin. "And what I found is concerning. The Valaxians have moved 3 battle fleets closer, to our colony on Proxima Centauri b. The Morites have already mapped our entire asteroid belt and marked mining sites. They're planning to take what we won't give them," said Ji-ho. Taewon walked to the window. From here he could see the massive Galactic Council station. It was impressive. A city in space with thousands of ships coming and going. Humanity was new to this galactic community, but they weren't helpless. "What about the other species?" he asked. "The ones not in the room?" "There are over 40 species in the council," said He-Jin. "Most are like us, newer members with less power. Many are watching these talks closely." "And what have you learned about council technology?" Taewon asked Sung-min. The science officer checked that the door was closed before answering. "They've hit development plateaus in several key areas. Their fusion containment is crude compared to ours. Their gravity manipulation technology is theoretical at best. They need our innovations." Taewon nodded slowly. "So that's why they're so insistent." "Yes," said Sung-min. "They've been stuck for centuries. Many of their systems are running on technology they barely understand, left by species that came before them." "What are you thinking, Captain?" asked Jiho. Taewon turned to face his team. "I'm thinking we've been playing by their rules for too long. They want us to feel small and grateful. But we have leverage we haven't used." "What leverage?" asked Sung-min. "The leverage to walk away," said Taewon. "They need us more than we need them." The team looked at each other. "Walking away from the Galactic Council?" He-Jin sounded worried. "No species has ever done that." "Exactly," said Jiho, understanding Taewon's plan. "That's why it might work. They expect us to keep taking their bad deals because everyone else does." "But what if they attack our colonies?" asked Sung-min. "They won't," said Taewon. "At least not right away. An attack would unite the other species against them. No, they'll try to bring us back to talks first. And when they do," said Jiho, "we'll have a stronger position." "Contact Earth," Taewon told He-Jin. "We need approval from the President and Defense Council before we make this move." 3 days later, they had their answer. Earth agreed to the plan. The next morning, the human delegation entered the meeting room. The aliens were already seated, ready for another day of going nowhere. They fell silent as they saw the serious faces of the humans. Jiho stepped forward. "Representatives of the Galactic Council, I speak today with the full authority of Earth's government." She paused, making eye contact with each alien. "For 6 months, we have attempted to negotiate in good faith. For 6 months, we have been met with demands, threats, and disrespect." "That is not true," Graven began, but Jiho held up her hand. "I am not finished," she said firmly. "Effective immediately, Earth withdraws from these proceedings. We will pursue independent development without Council interference. All Council ships must leave Earth space within 7 days." The room erupted in shocked voices. The aliens stood up, talking all at once. Taewon watched their reactions carefully. Behind the anger and protest, he saw something else. Fear. "You cannot just leave," shouted Graven. The protocols you ignore when it suits you?" Jiho asked. "We have recorded every violation. This meeting is over." The human delegation turned as one and walked out of the room, leaving stunned silence behind them. The gamble had begun. The Harmony moved away from the Galactic Council station. Captain Taewon Park watched from the bridge as the massive structure grew smaller on the view screen. His team stood around him in silence. They had just done something no species had ever done before. They had walked away from the Galactic Council. "Message coming in from the station," said He-Jin, the communications officer. "It's Graven." "Put him on screen," said Taewon. The blue face of the Valaxian high speaker appeared. His skin was darker than usual, a sign of strong emotion. "Captain Park, this is most irregular. You cannot simply leave negotiations." "We just did," said Taewon calmly. "The Council had 6 months to negotiate fairly. You chose not to." "But there are protocols, procedures." Graven looked genuinely shocked. "No species has ever withdrawn from Council integration talks." "Then perhaps the Council should consider why that is," said Jiho, stepping forward. "Perhaps other species were too afraid to walk away from bad deals. Humans are not afraid." "This is a mistake," said Graven. "There are dangers in space you don't understand. Without Council protection, your protection comes with too high a price," said Taewon. Earth will protect itself. He signaled to Hai Jin to cut the transmission. Gravin's face disappeared from the screen. Set course for Earth, Taewon ordered. Maximum speed. As the ship prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, Sung-min approached the captain. Sir, I've been reviewing all the data we collected during our time at the council. There's something interesting. Go on, said Taewon. Their technology has plateaued in key areas, said Sung-min. They haven't made major advances in fusion energy or gravity manipulation for over 300 years. That's why they want our technology so badly. Ji-ho joined them. So all that talk about us being primitive newcomers was just talk, finished Sung-min. In some areas, we've already surpassed them. The Harmony jumped to FTL speed, leaving the council station far behind. The journey to Earth would take 2 weeks at their best speed. During that time, the team analyzed everything they had learned. Hai Jin spent hours reviewing communications she had intercepted. One evening, she requested a meeting with the captain and the senior team. I found something in the council's internal messages, she said. Several of the smaller council races were secretly hoping we would stand up to the dominant species. Really? Why? Asked Taewon. The council has been controlled by the same 5 species for over 2,000 years, explained Hai Jin. The Valaxians, Morites, Feldrassi, and 2 others. They make all the important decisions. Newer members have little real power. So there's discontent, said Ji-ho thoughtfully. A lot of it, agreed Hai Jin. But no one species has been willing to challenge the system. They were watching us to see what would happen. Taewon rubbed his chin. Then our walking away might do more than just help Earth. It might change the whole council. When they reached Earth, President Min Ji-kang called them to her office. The defense minister, Do Hyun-yoon, was also there. Captain Park, said the Yao. President, your decision to withdraw from talks was bold. Tell me why it will work. Taewon explained everything they had learned. The council's technological plateau, the discontent among smaller members, the respect that Earth had earned by walking away. They need our technology more than we need. Their approval, he finished. And what about the military threats, asked Do-hyun. Our colonies are vulnerable. We've been monitoring their fleet movements, said Taewon. So far they're keeping their distance. An attack would be costly for them and would turn other council races against them. So what happens now? Asked the president. Now we wait, said Taewon. We continue developing our colonies. We strengthen our defenses. And we watch what happens in the council. President Min Ji nodded. Very well, but we must be prepared for all possibilities. The weeks passed. Earth increased security around its colonies. Ships patrolled the borders of human space. Scientists continued their work on fusion power and gravity manipulation, making new breakthroughs without council interference. 1 month after leaving the council, the first sign came that their plan was working. Captain, said Hai Jin during a status meeting, we've detected an unregistered ship approaching the edge of our solar system. It's small, moving slowly. Definitely not a warship. Identification? Asked Taewon. It's a Trellin vessel, said Hai Jin. The Trellins are a minor council race. They're known for their trading networks. What do they want? Asked Ji-ho. They're requesting permission to enter our space, said Hai Jin, for trade discussions. Taewon and Ji-ho exchanged a look. This was unexpected but promising. Allow them entry, said Taewon, but with an escort. The Trellin ship was met by 2 Earth defense vessels and guided to a space station in Earth orbit. The Trellin representative, a tall, thin being with silvery skin, brought an interesting offer. My people wish to trade directly with Earth, the Trellin said, outside of council oversight. That violates council rules, doesn't it? Asked Ji-ho. The Trellin made a gesture that the translator identified as amusement. Rules that benefit only the dominant species. Many smaller races are watching Earth with great interest. You did what none of us dared to do. This was just the beginning. In the following weeks, 3 more minor council races sent ships to Earth, all seeking direct trade agreements. Each one brought news of growing tensions within the council. The Valaxians are furious, said a Darabi trader. They've called emergency sessions. They never expected you to actually leave. The Feldrassi are talking about military action, said a Neve diplomat. But many races are against it. A civil war could break the council apart. 2 months after leaving the council, Earth had established trade agreements with 6 minor council races. Human technology was flowing outward, and valuable alien knowledge was coming in. Earth's colonies were growing stronger. Then came the most surprising visitor of all. "Captain," said He-Jin one morning, "a Morite diplomatic vessel is requesting permission to enter Earth space." "A Morite?" Taewon was surprised. "They're one of the dominant council races." "Yes, sir. And they say they're here unofficially. No council authorization." This was unexpected. The Morites had been among the most demanding during the council talks. "Allow them entry," said Taewon after consulting with the president. "Full security protocols." The Morite diplomat was nervous, looking over his shoulder as if expecting to be followed. "I come with a warning," he said. "The council is dividing. Some want to make peace with humans. Others want to force you back through strength." "And which side are the Morites on?" asked Jiho. "We are reconsidering our position," said the Morite carefully. "Your departure has caused much discussion. Some now believe the old ways of the council must change." As the Morite left, Taewon turned to Jiho. "It's working better than we hoped," he said. "We're not just changing our relationship with the council. We're changing the council itself. But we need to be careful," warned Jiho. "If the hardliners gain control, they might still attack." Taewon nodded. "Then we need to be ready for anything." In the darkness of space, change was coming. The humans had walked away. But the story was far from over. 3 months had passed since Earth walked away from the Galactic Council. What started as a bold gamble was now changing the politics of the entire galaxy. Defense Minister Do-Hyun Yoon walked into the president's office with a tablet in his hand. President Min-ji Kang looked up from her desk. "More news from space?" she asked. "Yes, Madam President, and it's quite interesting." Do-Hyun placed the tablet on her desk, showing a map of known space with many blinking lights. "These are diplomatic ships waiting at the edge of our solar system, all requesting permission to enter and talk with us." Min-ji studied the map. "So many?" 17 different species," said Do-Hyun. "Most are minor council races seeking direct trade agreements, but 3 are from the major powers." This was surprising news. The 5 major powers of the council had been unified in their treatment of Earth during the talks. "Which ones?" asked Min-ji. "The Morites, as you know, already sent an unofficial contact. Now the Feldrassi and the Jukari have also sent ships. Only the Valaxians and Ordeans are still holding out." Min-ji stood up and walked to the window. From her office, she could see the new construction in the city. Buildings using the latest gravity manipulation technology that made them seem to float in the air. "And what about the military movements?" she asked. "All council warships have withdrawn from near our colonies," said Do-Hyun. "Our intelligence suggests there was a major disagreement in their war council. Many races refused to support military action against Earth." "So our plan worked," said Min-ji. "We showed strength by walking away, and now they respect us." "It's more than that," said Do-Hyun. "We've accidentally started something bigger. Captain Park and Commander Kim are here to explain. Shall I send them in?" Min-ji nodded, and moments later Taewon and Jiho entered the office. "Madam President," said Taewon with a small bow, "we've been analyzing all the information from our various contacts in council space. The situation is more complex than we initially thought." "How so?" asked Min-ji. Jiho stepped forward. "Earth's withdrawal has exposed long-hidden cracks in the council's structure. For centuries, the 5 major powers have controlled everything: resources, technology, trade routes. The smaller races accepted this because they felt they had no choice. But now they see another way," continued Taewon. "Earth showed that it's possible to stand up to the major powers and survive and even thrive. It's giving hope to races that have been pushed around for generations." "There's more," said Jiho. The Council needs our technology, badly. Their fusion, containment systems are failing in 3 major hub worlds. Their gravity manipulation technology isn't advanced enough to fix their orbital stations. They've been hiding these problems for years. Minji sat back down at her desk, thinking, so by walking away we've not only improved our position but destabilized the entire Council? Yes, said Taewon, and now we have a choice to make. Do we continue to stay separate, making individual deals with friendly races? Or do we use our new leverage to reshape the Council into something better? It was a big question. Earth was doing well on its own. The new trade agreements with individual races were bringing in valuable resources and knowledge. Human colonies were growing. What do you recommend? Minji asked. I think we should wait a little longer, said Jiho. Let the pressure build. The more desperate they become, the better terms we can get when we finally agree to return. I agree, said Do-hyun. From a security standpoint, we're in a strong position. Our defenses are solid. Let them come to us. Minji nodded slowly. Very well. We continue as we are. But I want constant updates on the Council situation. While Earth's leaders made plans, changes were happening across the galaxy. On the Council station, an emergency meeting was taking place. All 53 member species were present, something that hadn't happened in over a century. High Speaker Graven was trying to maintain control, but many voices were shouting over him. The humans have made direct trade agreements with 22 of our members, he shouted. This violates our most basic rules. Rules that only benefit the 5 major powers, called out a Trellin representative. The humans offer fair deals. Why should we refuse? Because unity is strength, argued an Ordean diplomat. If the Council fragments, we all suffer. We're already suffering, said a Neve. 3 of our worlds can't maintain their shield generators without human fusion technology. People are dying. The debate raged for days. For the first time in Council history, the 5 major powers couldn't simply impose their will. Too many smaller races were ready to break away. Finally, after a week of arguments, the Council took an unprecedented vote. By a narrow margin, they decided to send a formal delegation to Earth to request the humans return to talks, but with new terms. Meanwhile, on Earth's colony world of New Hope, a young scientist named Yuna Seo made a breakthrough. She had combined human gravity manipulation with Trellin energy transfer technology, creating a new system that could terraform planets in months rather than decades. When news of this reached the Council, it caused even more panic. Humans were not only refusing to share their technology, they were creating new technologies that could leave the Council even further behind. On the Valaxian homeworld, Graven met with his advisors. We have no choice, he said bitterly. We must bring the humans back to the Council, on their terms if necessary. It's humiliating, said an advisor, to beg these newcomers to return. Pride or survival, said Graven. That is our choice now. The next day, the Council formally named Grand Arbitrator Kalox of the Feldrassi as their representative to Earth. Kalox was respected across the galaxy as fair and honest, a deliberate choice to show humans they were serious. As Kalox's ship prepared to depart for Earth, he received final instructions from the Council leadership. Bring them back, said Graven. Whatever it takes. Back on Earth, Taewon and Jiho were meeting with Sungmin in a research facility. The science officer was showing them new developments in fusion containment. We've increased efficiency by another 20%, said Sungmin proudly. Our colonies can now be completely self-sufficient in energy production. Excellent work, said Taewon. Just then his communicator beeped. He checked the message and looked up at his colleagues with surprise. The Council has named Grand Arbitrator Kalox as their official representative to Earth, he said. He's requesting permission to enter our space for high-level talks? Jiho's eyes widened. Kalox? He's one of the most respected figures in the galaxy. They're really taking this seriously. Should we allow it? Asked Sungmin. Taewon smiled slightly. Oh yes. We'll welcome the Grand Arbitrator with all proper respect. He paused. But we won't make it easy for him. Earth has earned the right to set terms now. From begging for a seat at their table to having them beg for us to return, said Jiho. Quite a change in 3 months. And this is just the beginning, said Taewon, looking out at the stars visible through the facility's window. The galaxy is changing and humanity is the cause. The Earthship Harmony waited at the edge of the solar system. Captain Taewon Park stood on the bridge, watching the view screen that showed a large, elegant vessel approaching. It was the personal ship of Grand Arbitrator Kelox, one of the most important figures in the Galactic Council. They're hailing us, said Communications Officer Hae-Jin Lee. Taewon nodded, on screen. The face that appeared was reptilian, with green scales and dark, intelligent eyes. Grand Arbitrator Kelox of the Feldrassi was known across the galaxy as fair and wise. That the Council had sent him showed how serious they were. Captain Park, said Kelox, his translator making his voice sound smooth. I thank you for meeting us here. Grand Arbitrator, Taewon replied with a small bow. It is an honor, though I admit we are surprised by your visit. These are unusual times, said Kelox. I come representing the full Galactic Council. We request permission to enter Earth space and speak with your leaders. Taewon noticed that Kelox said request, not demand. This was already different from how the Council had spoken to humans before. May I ask the purpose of your visit? Taewon asked, though he already knew the answer. There was a slight pause before Kelox replied. We wish to discuss Earth's return to the Council. Another pause. We recognize that there were errors in our approach during previous negotiations. Standing nearby, Jiho raised an eyebrow. This was as close to an apology as they had ever heard from a Council representative. I will relay your request to Earth leadership, said Taewon. Please hold your position until we receive an answer. After the communication ended, Jiho turned to Taewon. Did the mighty Grand Arbitrator just admit the Council was wrong? I believe he did, said Taewon with a small smile. Let's contact the President. Back on Earth, President Min-ji Kang called an emergency meeting. Defense Minister Do-hyun, Captain Taewon, and Commander Jiho, joining by video, and several other key leaders gathered in the presidential office. Grand Arbitrator Kelox himself, said Min-ji, looking at the images of the alien ship. This is unexpected. It shows how desperate they've become, said Do-hyun. Kelox rarely leaves the Council homeworld. What do we know about his delegation? Asked Min-ji. His ship carries representatives from all 5 major powers, said Taewon from the video screen, including High Speaker Grevin of the Valaxians. The same one who treated us with such contempt during the talks, noted Jiho. Min-ji thought for a moment. Allow them to approach Earth, but only Kelox's personal ship, not the entire delegation. We will meet them at the orbital station. 2 days later, the meeting took place. Earth's orbital station was the planet's newest achievement, a marvel of human engineering. It used gravity manipulation technology to create artificial gravity that felt completely natural. The station's main conference room had a spectacular view of Earth below. President Min-ji sat at the head of the table with Do-hyun, Taewon, Jiho, and Sungmin beside her. Across from them sat Grand Arbitrator Kelox and 4 representatives from the major council races. Grevin of the Valaxians was there, looking uncomfortable. Welcome to Earth space, said Min-ji. We are curious to hear what brings such distinguished visitors to our humble system. Kelox inclined his head. Thank you for receiving us, President Kang. I will speak plainly. The Council wishes for Earth to return to membership talks. Interesting, said Min-ji. Given that our previous talks were so unproductive, why would we consider returning? Because circumstances have changed, said Kelox. As have our terms. He placed a small device on the table. It projected a hologram showing a document. This is a proposal for Earth's integration into the Council, explained Kelox. It grants Earth full voting rights from the moment of joining. It ensures your autonomy in development and resource management. And it establishes fair exchange protocols for technology sharing. Jiho leaned forward, studying the document. These are the same terms we proposed 6 months ago. The ones you rejected? Yes, admitted Kalox. The Council has reconsidered its position. Why? Asked Taiwan directly. The alien representatives looked at each other. It was Graven who finally spoke. Because you have something we need. He said bluntly. Your technology, your innovation, and because your departure has caused unrest among council members. What Graven means, said Kalox smoothly, is that Earth has shown itself to be more valuable than we initially understood. Your fusion containment systems are superior to ours. Your gravity manipulation technology is more advanced, and your rate of innovation is remarkable. So now you see us as equals? Asked Minji. We see you as necessary, said Graven. Kalox shot him a look, then turned back to the humans. What my colleague means is that the galaxy works better when we cooperate. Earth has proven it can succeed alone, but together, we could achieve much more. Minji looked at her team. They had expected this, planned for it. But the Council's desperation was even clearer than they had anticipated. We will consider your proposal, said Minji, but we have conditions of our own. Of course, said Kalox. What are they? First, said Jiho, the Council's structure must change. The 5 major powers can no longer control all important decisions. All members must have meaningful votes. Graven started to protest, but Kalox raised a hand to silence him. Continue. Second, said Taiwan, Earth maintains control of its colonies and resources. No mandatory sharing, only fair trade agreements. And third, said Minji, Earth joins as a founding member of the new council structure, with the same status as the original 5. The room went quiet. What Earth was asking for was unprecedented. No new species had ever joined with such high status. This is outrageous, muttered Graven. Is it? Asked Do-hyun. In the 3 months since we left your talks, Earth has established trade agreements with 28 council races. Our colonies are thriving. Our technology continues to advance. We don't need the council. The question is, does the council need us? After a long moment, Kalox spoke. Your terms are bold, but not unreasonable. I must consult with the full council. Of course, said Minji. Take all the time you need. As the aliens left to return to their ship, Taiwan turned to Jiho. Did you see Graven's face? I thought he might explode. The mighty Valaxians having to treat humans as equals, said Jiho with a small smile. It must be difficult for him. Later that evening, as they waited for the council's response, Sung Min approached Taiwan with news. Captain, you should see this. He handed over a tablet. I've been analyzing the data from our new deep space scans. There's something strange happening at the edge of council space. Taiwan studied the images. What am I looking at? Energy readings, said Sung Min. Massive ones. Either they're building something huge, or what? Or they're preparing for something. Something big. Taiwan frowned. Could this be why they're so eager to bring us back? Do they need our help with something they're not telling us about? Possibly, said Sung Min. If so, it would give us even more leverage. The next morning, Kalox requested another meeting. This time he came alone. I've spoken with the full council, he said. After much debate, they have agreed to your terms. All of them. Minji raised an eyebrow. All of them? That was faster than expected. Kalox seemed uncomfortable. There are factors creating urgency. What factors? Asked Taiwan, thinking of Sung Min's scans. Kalox hesitated. That is a discussion for another time. Once Earth has rejoined the council. Minji exchanged glances with her team. There was clearly something the council wasn't telling them. But they had achieved what they wanted: respect, equality, and fair treatment. Very well, said Minji. Earth accepts the council's offer. We will return to talks, as equals this time. Kalox visibly relaxed. This is a historic moment. The beginning of a new era for the galaxy. As he left, Taewon turned to the others. We got what we wanted, but I can't help feeling there's something more going on. There always is, said Jiho. But this time, we're going in with our eyes open. 1 year had passed since humans first made contact with the Galactic Council. 6 months since they walked away from talks. 3 months since the Council begged them to return. Now, it was time for a new beginning. The Great Council Chamber looked different. Gone was the old arrangement where the 5 major powers sat elevated above everyone else. Now the seats formed a perfect circle. All members, old and new, sat at the same level. President Minji Kang led the Earth delegation. Captain Taewon Park, Commander Jiho Kim, Science Officer Sungmin Cho, and Communications Officer Hae-jin Lee stood behind her. They had been through much together. Grand Arbitrator Kelox called the meeting to order. Representatives from all 53 council species were present. The chamber was completely full. Many had come just to see this historic moment. Today marks a new chapter in council history, said Kelox. Earth joins us not as a junior member, but as a full partner, with the same standing as founding races. Minji stepped forward. Earth accepts membership in the Galactic Council under the terms of the reformed integration protocols. These protocols, largely written by Jiho and her team, created new rules for how council members work together. Technology would be shared fairly. Resources would be traded, not taken. All members would have a real voice in decisions. Many of the smaller council races openly showed their happiness. For centuries, they had lived under the control of the 5 major powers. Now there was real hope for change. Even some of the major powers seemed relieved. Only Graven of the Valaxians looked unhappy, his blue skin dark with emotion. After the formal ceremony, Taewon found himself looking out at the amazing view from the council station. Stars filled the darkness of space. He thought about how far humans had come in just 1 year. Kelox approached him, moving quietly for such a large being. You are pleased with the outcome, Captain? The Grand Arbitrator asked. Very, said Taewon, though I admit I didn't expect the Council to accept all our terms so quickly. Kelox was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke in a low voice. There is something you should know. Part of why we needed Earth to return quickly. The energy readings at the edge of Council space? Asked Taewon. Kelox looked surprised. You detected those? Impressive. Yes, we have been tracking unusual activity in that region. We believe an ancient species may be waking up. Ancient species? Long. Before the Council formed, other races ruled the galaxy, explained Kelox. Most died out or left, but we've always feared some might return. The readings match old records of their technology. Taewon understood now. And you think humans might help if they appear? Your innovation, your fresh thinking, said Kelox. The Council has grown, set in its ways. We solve problems the same way we did 1,000 years ago. But these ancient beings, if they have returned, will not be defeated by old tactics. You needed new allies, said Taewon. New ideas. Precisely, admitted Kelox. Though I must say, we didn't expect you to change the entire council structure in the process. Taewon smiled slightly. Humans are full of surprises. Later that day, Minji called her team together in their private meeting room on the station. The mood was happy but serious. We've achieved more than we hoped, she said. But now comes the hard part, making it work. The smaller races are fully behind us, said Hae-jin. They see Earth as their champion. And the major powers? Asked Minji. Most are accepting the changes, said Jiho. The Feldrassi and Morites have been surprisingly cooperative. Only the Valaxians seem truly unhappy. They had the most to lose, said Taewon. They were the strongest of the 5. Minji nodded. Keep a close eye on them. And what about this threat Kelox mentioned? Sungmin brought up a holographic display showing the energy readings from the edge of council space. Whatever it is, it's massive, he said. And based on the pattern of readings, it's not natural. Something is out there, building up power. A threat or an opportunity? Wondered Minji. Either way, said Taiwan. We're in a better position to face it together with the Council than alone. Agreed, said Minji. Share our findings with Kalox. Let's start this new partnership with honesty. In the following weeks, Earth representatives began working with Council teams across many areas. Human scientists shared their latest advances in fusion technology. In return, Council engineers taught humans about faster-than-light communication. Systems Earth colonies welcomed visitors from friendly Council races. Trade grew quickly. Some humans even began moving to Council worlds, while aliens came to live on Earth. Not everything was perfect. There were cultural misunderstandings. Some, older Council races still looked down on young humans, and Graven of the Valaxians continued to protest the new Council structure at every meeting. 2 months after Earth joined the Council, the mysterious energy readings grew stronger. A joint research team of humans and Council scientists was formed to investigate. At a briefing, Sungmin presented their findings to the Council leadership. We believe the energy signature belongs to automated systems, he said. Ancient machines, not living beings. They appear to be mining stars for energy. For what purpose? Asked Kalox. Unknown, admitted Sungmin, but they're moving in a clear pattern, heading toward populated systems. Later that day, Taiwan found Graven alone in a quiet part of the station. The Valaxian seemed troubled. Hi, Speaker. Taiwan greeted him politely. Graven looked up, surprised. Captain Park. What do you want? To understand, said Taiwan, you still oppose the new Council structure. Why? It seems to be working well for everyone. Graven was quiet for a long moment. You changed everything so quickly, he finally said. Structures that took centuries to build, remade in months. Change was needed, said Taiwan. The old system wasn't fair. Perhaps, admitted Graven reluctantly. But you must understand some among us feared your species. In mere centuries you achieved what took others millennia. When you walked away so decisively, you realized that bullying humanity wouldn't work. Taiwan finished. Indeed. And that perhaps we needed your perspective more than you needed our approval. Graven hesitated. There is wisdom in knowing when to walk away from a bad position. This was a surprising admission from the once proud Valaxian. The coming challenge may require all our strengths combined, said Taiwan, thinking of the mysterious energy readings. Old and new species working together. Graven nodded slowly. That is also why I have stopped fighting the changes. The Council must adapt or die. You have shown us this truth. As Taiwan returned to the Earth section of the station, he met Ji-ho. In the corridor. Was that you talking with Graven? She asked, surprised. Even the most stubborn can change, said Taiwan. He's starting to see that the new way might be better. Ji-ho smiled. Not bad for a species that was supposedly too primitive to deserve equal standing. Sometimes the best negotiating tactic is being willing to leave the table, said Taiwan. They stood together by a large window looking out at the stars. In the distance they could see Earth ships working alongside Council vessels, practicing joint operations in preparation for whatever might be coming from the edge of known space. Whatever happens next, said Ji-ho, at least we'll face it as equals. More than equals, said Taiwan, as partners. In the years that followed, humanity's influence spread throughout galactic society. Earth became known not just for its technological innovations but for its diplomatic courage. The species that walked away only to return stronger, changing the stars themselves in their wake. And when the ancient machines finally reached Council space, they found not divided races but a united front, a new kind of Council, stronger than ever before. A Council where humans stood proudly alongside their alien allies, ready to face the future together. The end.